Hi everyone, I'm Airier. You're watching DougDoug's I Force Twitch chat to fight the American Revolution. This is a nice change of pace from just watching AI do horribly murderous things whenever DougDoug has his hands on versus Twitch chat, which is just a bunch of random people doing horribly murderous things when he even gives them the slightest bit of leeway. It's like the circle of, oh yeah, we're screwed. Also, this is going to be a shocking thing, but oh yeah, we're screwed. I know, fun. More importantly, I'm really looking forward to this. Joking aside, Twitch chat is usually absolutely batshit insane. It's part of the reason I've even grown to love DougDoug stuff. The other half being that he's also batshit insane. Put them together, honestly, it's just the same level of batshit insane, but it's just generally fun. I have no idea what that says about me, but it's probably something a psychiatrist would be just going, well, this is going to be a big paycheck for a long time. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to ignore all of that. More importantly, you guys know the deal. Link below video. Hit it up. Let's get started.
This is the true story of the American Revolutionary War.
I'm just going to be following up on the other fight
too afraid to tell you, because the American army was actually led by Twitch chat, and the British army was actually led by an AI version of King George the...
Oh, I thought this was against DougDoug. This is against AI George versus American chat. Okay, this is all the kind of insanity. I am actually looking forward to seeing more now. Oh no.
You shan't escape the long cultured arm of Great Britain, you
Is an AI writing the
revolutionary
script?
turds.
In this historical reenactment, the Americans will start with the bottom 6 colonies. The British will start with the top 6 colonies, and the first side to take over 10 of the 13 colonies.
Wait, seriously? I'm not exactly a good student of history because it was told to everyone in school, and because it was taught in school, I ignored almost all of it. Probably not a proud thing, but you know, did it. I thought it was the other way around, that the South was more British and the North was more fuck all y'all, I want my coffee, which is weird because the start of the fight over tea, but we're gonna ignore that fact.
Wins the whole war. And as we all know, the first battle took place in the colony of Delaware, I think.
Did
so
it?
Let's start by having Twitch chat decide
What was the
their
first battle,
strategy
technically?
for the Great Battle of
Did they
Delaware.
just say nukes in there?
Nuke.
They're deciding to nuke Delaware. See, that's not fair. That implies there's things worth nuking in Delaware. I have literally no idea what's even in that state. It is just a place on the map that I think you drive through. It's like New Jersey, except it connects to less.
Delaware. Oppenheimer. We are in 1776.
Invent Oppenheimer.
Disguise as the British? Like, to surprise them? Now, guys,
That's
I don't believe there's
not
any
actually a bad
bias,
option.
But one of our British VIPs has suggested surrendering immediately and ceding full control of the country to Britain. That is an option. Someone suggested
That would
destroy
technically
Delaware
work.
so nobody can have it.
And considering the last time they tried to do something in that one AI fight between him and chat, they can do random things. So they might succeed in failing to fail at succeeding. I'm not really sure where this metaphor is going, but we both know it probably wouldn't actually go that way.
For opium to King George to get him addicted. Ah, that's historically relevant and funny.
Oh, he's actually aware of the Opium Wars? Oh, for clarification, everything I just said sounds horrible. Because it was. It was actually a fight over opium, and I'm pretty sure it involved China. I don't know much about it because it's British history, and that's something I know even less about than American history. I like history usually when it's older than 1,000 years, and anything newer kind of fell off for me. I don't know why. I have literally no idea why that's the case. I'm just weird.
Send in George Washington. Somebody who wanted with a chainsaw. You don't have that in 1776. I'll say with an axe, which he may or may...
They don't have it yet, but I'm pretty sure it was invented in the Civil War time period. Or slightly before it, because it was a great way to help women with pregnancy. Yeah. Don't look it up. You'll find proof. And it gets way more disturbing then.
may not have used, if that story is real.
I'd like to speak for Britain and just say we don't want Delaware. If we do, we want to cut it off and send it adrift.
That's the
No,
problem with
you
the
take
Brits right
Delaware.
now.
We don't want it.
Control, because this is back in
Unless we have American.
1776 when you had a king who just did whatever the hell he wanted, right? These are good options, y'all. What do you do?
Yep.
Their first move of the Revolutionary
Destroy
War
Delaware.
is to destroy Delaware so that the British can't have it.
Oh,
There's no indication
man.
that you couldn't have it, but
Not-
this is good. How exactly do you want to do
I don't
this?
know any
You do
cities
not
in
have
the
nukes.
United
This is 1776. Push
Province?
it into
No,
the
that's Rhode
ocean.
Island.
Salt the fields. Eat it. Okay, you have decided
They have fields to salt? Also, again, I have no idea what's in Delaware.
to eat Delaware. I don't know what novel AI will do with that information, but you will try.
Oh, no.
God bless America.
Because the AI is not just an entire team, it's also still doing the options. Oh my god.
Now,
Oh,
we will ask
no.
King George from Britain his strategy for this battle. Okay, King George, the battle for the American
How are you going to
colonies
eat Delaware?
has officially begun. The first battle is going to be taking place in Delaware, sir. What strategy would you like to employ on this battlefield?
Oh, so it's competitive. They're not actually just doing I do my action, then you do your action. It's literally going back and forth.
Want like a big dramatic entrance out of the gate, because as long as it's something big and boisterous, he can stop you from eating Delaware.
Ah, Delaware. Filled with more empty space than a Scottish man's understanding of dental hygiene.
Is this being written by AI, or is DougDoug typing this in? Also, he's English. An English monarch prior to now. He has no right, even as an AI, to say anything about dental hygiene. Oh my god.
Why is he roasting the Scottish?
We shall weaponize
I mean, he is English.
the oh-so-beloved British obsession with orderly cues. Hear me out. It's not as absurdum vulgaris, a fancy term for utterly bollocks, that you peasants wouldn't get. We'll line up our troops in a disciplined queue. Convince those Yankees...
This is 5 days ago. When did it happen on Twitch chat? That's just... I'm comparing this to the previous fight videos that were recorded last year in 2023. Or was it 2022 and then the videos were made about them in 2023? I don't know which one, but either way, this is so much more understandable and coherent. This has to be something DougDoug did to edit this, right? I mean, this actually sounds like a character rather than, oh yeah, it's an AI, just throwing out random words that kind of fit the right sentence structure. Yeah. I don't know, and I'm actually a little afraid someone in the chat, someone in the comments section is going to go, yeah, Airier, nah, this is from a stream. He didn't invent this at all. The AI is just that much better now, because that is moderately terrifying. It's like those news videos from Sora, not the Kingdom Hearts one, unfortunately, that are downright freaking insanely detailed, except for a handful of times where they still fuck up the hands. And no one's eating because they can't do that either. But it just looks good unless, it does something that it really can't do.
Rebels were there for their laughable Black Friday sales. As they approach to join in, they will find themselves surrounded. Their love for bargains, their downfall. Like confusing a coyote with a garden gnome, they won't see it coming until it's gnawing at their ankles. We'll make...
Did DougDoug just create a Family Guy plot? Twitch chat accidentally recreates the next Family Guy episode before it's written. I have so many confused thoughts right now.
Make them shit bricks all wrapped up in Union Jacks before they know what hit them. This will teach those uncouth scoundrels not to mess with the king who single-handedly outdrank the entire Irish Navy. You feel that, colonists?
Okay, that's just insane. No one outdrinks the Irish. I'm Irish. I am not allowed to say anything otherwise because my family members will find out and then decide to prove it by having a drinking contest. We're not doing that again because we already have enough places we're not allowed to return to. It's not worth getting more.
That's British cunning descending upon you like a very polite, tea-loving hawk.
Why is he shitting on Scotland and Ireland? What's wrong with this
He's
guy?
British!
No, that's my kingdom. We're in America. Now that both sides have a battle plan.
I mean, it's pretty accurate, man.
To accurately determine which side wins the Battle of Delaware. And I don't actually remember much American history because I took it in middle school and got bad grades. I'm pretty sure this is...
This checks out. Also, I'm assuming this is someone actually doing voice acting. It's not just the AI doing it, right? I'm just going to tell myself it's someone specifically doing the voice acting. It's someone specifically making a coherent argument. Please don't correct me.
Is accurate, though. The first battle will take place in Delaware. King George began the battle by lining up his troops in a Black Friday sale and then pouncing on the American soldiers when they attempt to join in on the sale. Meanwhile, the American revolutionaries attempt to eat all of Delaware so that the British can't have it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the British send in some spies. These spies are disguised as bacon.
What?
This makes the American revolutionaries upset, so they throw them in the Delaware River and take the bacon. The American revolutionaries try to get the bacon back, but they don't have time.
Did this just devolve to cannibalism? Yeah, this is the level of insanity I expected from the AI to do something, so it's definitely someone voice acting the other side for George. I'm just going to believe that. And also, we now have Cannibal American Southerners. The cannibal South. The South must feast on the long pork again.
And then the battle begins. The British Army attacks and kills all of the Americans.
Well, that was
the battle
over.
is won, and the British celebrate by dancing around the Delaware River, which has a huge hole in it from where they threw the spies.
The bacon hole.
Unfortunately, your strategy of not attacking did not seem to work, chat.
Yep.
Delaware has the highest cancer rate in the nation. No joke.
Well, maybe the Brits
Wonder
will
why.
get cancer there now. So this is promising. A strong start, I would say, from you guys.
Can we turn Ohio into an ocean?
Ohio is currently in Quebec, which is owned by the British. Who owned Quebec?
Oh, yeah. It is the province of Quebec at this time. Claimed by New York and New Hampshire. Oh, it's the section over here. And it becomes Vermont later. Yeah.
Quebec at this time. No, the French. I'm dumb. Is Rupert's Land the British? I don't know who Rupert
Hudson
is.
Bay Company?
Fantastic job,
Wasn't that-
King George. Your army
who did
managed
that?
to kill the American revolutionaries stationed in Delaware and threw them into the river hole. Now you have
Yep.
Maryland and Pennsylvania as colonies that you can attempt to take next. Which one do you attack, and what is your
Oh, it's weird that they don't actually go all the way back at this time period. Huh.
strategy? Be ready for the smartest strategy you've ever heard in your life.
Well, fuck
Win the
me
game.
sideways with a crumpet. Isn't that a fine pickle? Maryland or Pennsylvania, eh? Let's go with Maryland, the home of absurd quantities of blue crabs, which are clearly vastly inferior to our noble British lobster. The strategy, gentlemen.
Am I the one who's high right now? DougDoug is reacting to it like he doesn't know what's going to happen, so he didn't write the script. Someone else might be writing the script. He did bring someone in that he didn't talk about just to put it in, or is there actually a dedicated? No, it's a person. There's a person. I don't want to believe the AI is this cogent. Although I don't think there is British lobster. I thought that was a Maine thing. Although they would have just claimed Maine.
Is audacious, daring, and definitely top drawer manus manum levat, which means mutual back scratching, you uncultured buffoons. We shall barrage
Oh
the
my
coastline
God.
with
Okay.
leftover
Who's
fish and
doing the
chips
voice?
wrapped in copies of the Times. An idea as British as a corgi eating a scone. These American
They are cute
yokels will
pictures.
scuttle crab-like to collect the feast, only to be met with our well-disciplined troops
That's smart.
popping out of gigantic teapots.
Okay.
You
The
Yanks
teapot
aren't
offensive.
prepared for these levels of British subterfuge, are ya?
All right, chat. The next
Sneak
battle is taking place in
teapots.
Maryland. What is your strategy? Somebody said
Oh,
make the
no.
Statue of Liberty into a mech. That's
They
fine,
wouldn't have that
but
yet.
you have to build it too.
Also, it's
Or
French.
Marbles on the battlefield. I mean, simple but effective.
I mean, I guess
Throw
teapots, it's a really good
angry
one.
Maryland crabs at them.
Tea.
Send a team to steal Stonehenge.
What?
Stonehenge doesn't exist yet. I don't think that's correct.
Oh
Marry
my
Maryland
God.
to France? I just feel like you do want colonies, just so you know. Organize a crab
I-
rave. Doesn't seem like a great. None of these seem like particularly good battle.
No.
tactics. It looks like
Crab
you're about
rave's
to
pretty
turn
good,
Statue
bud.
of Liberty into a mech. Now, the Statue of Liberty does not
Angry
exist at this
Maryland
point, but
crabs.
you're gonna try to build it and then send it into battle. I guess. I'm
Oh
sure
my
it'll work
God.
out. I don't see any issues with that.
They have actually decided to go full, build a French statue, and then mechanize it. Oh, we have reached dangerous levels of weeb really fast. I'm here for it.
Next, a great battle took place in the colony of Maryland. The British Army barraged the coastline of Maryland with leftover fish and chips wrapped in copies of the Times. They hoped to ambush the Americans as they tried to eat the food by popping out of gigantic teapots. Meanwhile, the American troops attempted to build a mechanized Statue of Liberty and send it into battle against the Brits. The Statue of Liberty ended up being too heavy, so it fell into the ocean while still attached to a boat full of revolutionaries were trying to catch it. The boat sunk and the revolutionaries drowned.
So they got full on Liberty Prime, and it immediately died. Disappointing.
That's just a loss, right? It's
Yeah.
a submarine. I'll do one continue. Let's see. Then the British Army began a fireworks show
In honor of their victory. Now it's just
When the
taking a victory
fireworks were
lap.
done, the American troops attempted to light up the entire sky with fireworks. The fireworks eventually destroyed New York City, which had recently been liberated by the Americans.
They got it and immediately
British
lost it
win
again.
Maryland, but they also burnt down New York for some reason.
After they got it.
Good news, sir. You've just taken Maryland. Your plan worked perfectly because the revolutionaries built a Statue of Liberty and then it sunk the boat they were in and they all drowned. Maryland
Oh
is
my
now officially British. Next up, you could attack Pennsylvania or Virginia from within Maryland. Which state would you like to attack and what is your strategy?
Pennsylvania?
You don't have New York. You destroyed
We
the
get New
whole
York.
city. We liberated it. You burnt it.
They liberated it from having physical bodies. Now it's nothing but ash. Oh, jeez. Let AI sort out its own.
to the ground.
We crowned the land of crabs, but toasted New York, bugger. Well, above everything, we Brits know how to throw a bloody good ruckus, don't we? As for our next target, I'd fancy squashing those Pennsylvania pretentious prats. Now, gentlemen, listen exceptionally keenly to our strategy. We're going
those
to
damn
flood them
Quakers.
with our royal tea. Our highly esteemed chemists have bred a unique...
Did the AI just make a no? Someone has to be. Is there a comment? Army song warning music credit. It's just I don't. Bellberg. What? I don't know. There's no one else here being credited. There's the edited. Yeah, they're disguised as bacon now. Who is doing King George? I'm going insane. I'm legitimately going insane. Okay, wow.
strain of English tea leaves, the Caranus Secure, or the holy shit,
Also, let's make a
that's
pun about
strong
royal
tea,
tea.
as it's lovingly called at court. We shall brew a giant vat of this potent tea and disperse it across Pennsylvania, effectively plunging them into a very British foggy stupor. This, my good chaps, is a classic
British
example of
fog
British
pun.
finesse, turning a harmless high tea into a dangerous warfare weapon.
Why is he so sensual and talking really quietly? Wrote the microphone. Dude, you guys
Oh my
might finally
God.
just lose. This guy seems like a fucking genius. I think Twitch chat may have finally met their match.
Who
I would
is
love
playing
to watch
this
you guys
side?
lose. You're too cocky. You've had too many strings of successes. It's time
All
for
of the
a brutal
success.
loss.
They've had every
Britain is
success.
up to 8 colonies. Next battle is in Pennsylvania. Chat, what do you want to do? Send in Abraham Lincoln. I mean, it's a little early.
Well, I guess they could throw a baby.
Air
Oh, they're
strike
actually
the
throwing the
British.
baby.
This is 1776. When were the Wright brothers? That was in the 1900s, right?
Yeah.
It's too early.
A bit
It's
later.
Way too early. Sure. Okay. Bomb them from a hot air balloon. I'll allow that.
That
The
would
thing you
actually
do
be a
have
possibility.
is the
Not a
Liberty
smart one,
Bell,
but a
right?
possibility
You
at that
can
time
use the
period.
bell for something. I don't exactly know what, but I feel like there's potential there. Yeah. Make the Liberty Bell a mech. I mean, I think this is one of
Was
those
it around that? I
situations
think it
where
might have
you
been.
gotta try again. By the way, for any non-God-fearing, freedom-loving, beer-drinking Americans here, let's walk you through what happened.
Obligatory. America! Fuck yeah. It needed to be done. You just have to do it every time.
With the Liberty Bell and why it is so important to us. It
Old.
has a crack. I know that.
Yep.
So, thrilled by their victory, the British Army now advanced on the colony of Pennsylvania. They brewed a giant vat of their famous holy shit that strong tea and tried to disperse it across Pennsylvania to plunge the revolutionaries into a foggy
British fog.
stupor. Meanwhile, the American revolutionaries attempt to turn the Liberty
They're
Bell
actually
into a
doing it.
gigantic mechanized battle bell to attack the British.
Battle bell
But they
back.
fail, as the Liberty Bell is
Too
too heavy. And they
heavy.
end up losing their
They
entire
just are
army
hated
as
this
they
time
try to
around.
Move it. Dude, you guys are getting destroyed. Meanwhile, a mysterious French spy arrived
What?
on the shores of New Jersey. His name was King George. No, but the French didn't know that. He snuck into a small fishing village and sold a bunch of French stuff. Okay, so
My
this King
God.
George is like moonlighting as a French spy and
So the French spy selling French stuff is actually the enemy king. Isn't that almost the plot of Code Geass? Yeah, it's not, but also it's close enough that I'm going to give it credit on this one.
selling stuff in Jersey. But you do lose Pennsylvania.
Knock off
You guys
throws
are
in
getting
Jersey.
Annihilated, man. It didn't
They
say
kinda
you
are.
lost it. Your whole army died. He marched into Pennsylvania, and your entire army was killed by the Liberty Bell. You lost your entire army. That's enough.
They didn't
I
lose it.
swear this
They just
AI
never
is on
had it in
British
a
mode.
hall.
I think you guys are just being outplayed. Also, am
Yeah.
I insane? Snuck is a word, right? It wants me to say suck. He sucked into a fishing village.
Give me some sip.
King George,
Are they gonna
you
lose
won
this
the battle.
fast?
Pennsylvania is now in the hands of the British Empire. Your strategy to brew a giant pot of
Quaker
holy
rebellion
shit, that
has
strong tea
commenced.
wasn't actually relevant because they all killed themselves with their mech again. Also,
They just need to stop
we
making
know about
mechs.
Your little spying as a French soldier and selling their stuff in Jersey. You're not fooling anybody here. Anyways,
And they're all
looks
saying
like
rigged in the
Virginia
chat.
Is next on the menu. What is your battle tactic to take the colony of Virginia, sir?
The audacity of these rebellions trying to get my knickers is almost endearing. Virginia is our dish of the day. I might as well whip up a nice Yorkshire pudding while we're at it. My plan.
Does he know how to
is for
cook?
Queen's werewolves. Yes, you heard it right.
What?
Lupus regini, or as you commoners call them, royal furry fangs. These buggers smell biscuits from.
Send in the furries. We have reached dangerous levels of history of the world, man. We have reached Monty Python levels. Oh, or even Mel Brooks levels. Send in the furries. Oh, the British furry regiment.
Miles away, I say we send them a bunch of spotted dick sponges. No American
Those are
can
actually a thing?
resist an oddly named dessert. Soon, Virginia shall be ours.
That was a dessert? I thought it was a fish dish. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting that.
And as for that spying nonsense, I call it business perpetuity, as the French
I wonder
would
who's
say,
doing this.
right before surrendering. So get that factored in. Am I not magnanimously genius?
God, King George is fucking brutal, man. He is not holding back at all. You're up. Battle for Virginia. By French soldiers from King George in Jersey. Use his own wares against him. Send in
They'll
Bigfoot
surrender
to
for
fight the
them.
werewolves. Turn the White House into a rocket. Now, he's using werewolves, so
Would it
I
be
would
around
allow
by
this,
then?
but
I
this
don't
would be your
think so.
third attempt to make a mech out of some American symbol. and
They're going
it
to definitely
probably
choose it because
fail
it's the
again.
dumbest possible option.
All the virgins. Is that why Virginia's named that? Make a
Virgin,
virgin
yeah.
mech. It's just, I think you should move on from the mech strategy. George
Mech
Washington challenges
state.
King George to a boxing match. That's good. I'm honestly surprised you aren't going for turn the White House into a rocket. It
Yeah.
looks like you are going for George Washington challenges King George to a boxing match.
Would this be a
could really go
knockout and an
anywhere.
instant win?
Next, the Great Battle of Virginia began.
God,
The
they're
American
actually
Revolutionaries
doing
sent George Washington to challenge King George III to a boxing match. Winner takes
God.
all. Not super clear what it'll do with this phrase, but the British prepared for battle by spreading spotted dick sponges all over Virginia and then having the Queen's werewolves lie in wait to attack. Who will win in this great battle for
The
Virginia?
British
Will it be
furries. I'm
George
sorry, man,
Washington's
that's just too
boxing match
much.
challenge or the spotted dick sponge werewolves? When the battle began, King
Spotted
George III
werewolves,
knocked
even.
Washington down with a hard right cross. Then King George got a standing ovation from his French supporters who were sitting at the back of the
Because
arena.
he's
They're
their spy.
French. The crowd started chanting, "Vive l'Empereur!" And the king, after getting over his shock, countered by landing a fierce left hook on George Washington, which sent him reeling. In the fourth round,
Wait. So there was a knockdown of Washington by King George, and then King George was shocked because he was cheered by the French. Okay, so actual support by the French counts as damage to you.
George Washington managed to regain his footing. It took a moment to assess the damage to his body. He was hurt, and he had lost a tooth, but he still
It was
felt
wooden, though, so it
confident
didn't
that he
matter.
could win the fight. So he approached the king cautiously, but with determination, and threw a combination of left jabs and body punches.
Honestly,
at his
the AI
opponent.
seems
King
more
George III,
coherent than
meanwhile,
before.
was confident that he would win this fight. He had the
I mean, not a
advantage
lot,
being
but-
British, after all. But he hadn't realized how powerful his opponent was, and he soon found himself in trouble.
Ooh.
He ducked and weaved, but the American soldier kept hitting him. Then he threw a series of kicks at Washington. That's not allowed. Who wasn't able to avoid them all. He took some blows to the face, and the
Well,
crowd
now they're
booed,
cheating.
but he was still able to fight. It was time for the last round. Washington threw a hard right hook, knocking the king down to his knees. The British army was shocked, and they started to shout at their leader, "Get up!" The king got to his feet, but his vision was blurry. His hands were shaking,
Ah,
he
yes,
was
the
bleeding
good
and
old term
beaten,
of
but he still had some
fisticuffs.
strength left in him. As he staggered towards his opponent, Washington threw a right cross
And-
and landed on his face. That's got to be it, right? King George fell to the ground, and the crowd went crazy. They started chanting, "Vive la France!" Then the French soldier that George Washington had met during his time in the military arrived and hit George in the face with a wooden
Box?
What?
What?
You know what? Let's see where this goes. He turned to the crowd and said, "Vive la France," and left. George Washington knelt next to the king and checked his pulse. The man was still alive, but he was in a deep sleep. Congratulations
So they hit him with a healing box? Sure, Team Fortress 2 can do it. Why not?
to the Americans. You defended Virginia. As a result of your win, you get a free research round. You can try to build whatever you want, and then you
What
get to
mech are they
attack
gonna
into
make
one of the other
now?
colonies. What do you want to do on your research turn? Strap tons of dynamite to bald eagles. I like the idea that you don't have like a plan for this.
What the fuck, man? Who thinks Twitch chat? Never mind. It's DougDoug's Twitch chat. I should have no questions here. This is the level of insanity I should be very expecting of at this point. But also, I'm really not, because dynamite strap-ons on flying bald eagles. The British use spotted dick. We use strap-on eagles. I don't even. This is just what the. I don't. Oh my god, I hope my wife doesn't see this, because she's probably going to start quoting this and I'll have to deal with that, because that would just be a massive, "Oh, you're cute when you do this, love," but also please stop doing it at family dinners. They're enjoying it too much.
You're just like, "Hey guys, we have some time before the next battle. Let's put bombs on our birds. Buy
Dick
Alaska
bombs.
and turn it into a mech." You also have the option of trying to recruit Rupert from whatever the hell this is. All right, you're going to buy Alaska and turn it into a mech. With the battle won, George Washington and the Americans had some time to recuperate, so they tried to buy Alaska from the Russians and then turn it into a
actually buy it in
gigantic
history,
battle mech.
so.
But they failed. The Russians didn't want to sell Alaska to them because they thought they were insane.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Tried again, but this time they used a nuclear warhead to blow up Alaska and then sold it to the Japanese. Wait, they sold Alaska to the Japanese? Hold on, we're gonna let this ride. What did you get?
What?
In return for selling the nuked Alaska to Japan, the Americans received some cash. The cash was then used to build a battle mech and then give it to the French army, which used it in the war with Britain. Here's what we're gonna do. The attempt to turn...
I mean, admittedly, France was at war with Britain at this time because the 100 Years' War was still technically a thing, even though it wasn't really 100 years of war. It was 100 years containing multiple battles that were skirmishes, but sometimes actual full-out fights. And it went back and forth over sometimes a full-out war, sometimes oh, hey, we had a fight. It was not consistent fighting. It was more, close enough, except for when it wasn't.
Alaska into a battle mech has somehow resulted in you guys building a different mech, which was given to the French, who are now fighting Britain with it. So for the next battle, you guys will
have
do your
French
thing,
mechs.
and also France will be
Le
attacking
bataille.
with a battle mech. We
I don't know how
nukes.
to speak French.
I guess you technically, yeah, I guess so. But
Now
we're
we have
gonna
nukes.
say that nuclear
Oh,
warheads
it don't
are
matter.
dropped by bald eagles because you definitely don't have airplanes yet. Nuke George. Why would you nuke
Oh
George
my God.
Washington? Oh, you mean King George? Cool. That's
Georges
a good
have it.
development. So you're attacking Maryland, and this is a potentially massive turning point in the war. Now that French is also attacking Britain, you aren't necessarily allied
and
with
a
the
giant
French,
mech.
though. They're just fighting the British, which is
Yeah.
fairly historically accurate. Also,
Yeah.
congratulations to France. You've entered the war. Bad news, King George.
Actually, it's not even that. We also just nuked Russia's interest, stole Alaska, sold it to the Japanese. Did they just turn this into the American Revolutionary World War? The AI is going
Our
crazy on
army
this.
was defeated in
Not
Virginia
surprising,
when
but-
you lost that boxing match to George Washington. Now the American revolutionaries are moving in on the colony of Maryland. You'll have to defend it. But we've heard disturbing reports. Apparently the revolutionaries have nuclear warheads, and France has just entered the battle with some sort of giant battle mechs. Sir, what is
Japanese
your
battle
strategy
mechs.
for the Battle of Maryland?
Bloody hell. Nuclear what? You've been sipping too much tea, lad. The French with their battle necks, they're about as scary as a biscuit without tea.
Okay.
They'll crumble.
Okay,
we
he's
shall
confident.
employ the
He's
most
confident.
cunning strategy, one birthed from the bowels of our great culture, the cricket play. We will arrange our redcoats into overs and innings, just like in a cricket match. Once the enemy...
Were those words? Did the AI just break? I think the AI just broke. There's no way anyone would actually use words like wovers and innings. I mean, innings might be a thing in baseball, but what's a wover? Is that a cricket thing? It sounds too stupid to be real, though. It might actually be British
confused at
then.
our placement, our batsmen will charge with bayonets while our bowlers unleash a hellfire of lead.
I don't
Why
know
would
what
it work?
cricket is.
Have
Yeah.
you seen these colonists try to understand cricket? They can't even hold a wicket properly. That's like
literally
watching a
don't know
Frenchman
what
trying to
cricket-
make a
how it works.
delightful English scone.
Look, I don't know a single thing about how cricket works. Not
I'm with the DougDoug on this one. If the AI just went absolutely insane, or if everything it just said was real, I have no idea, and I'd have to believe either one, because it sounds like someone is having a mental breakdown in an AI form. Or whoever's voicing it, because I honestly don't know which one it is. I'm not sure which one would be more disturbing at this point.
one single thing. I watched like 10 seconds of it one time, and it made no sense. It is incomprehensible as a sport. So he's correct. The Americans can't understand it. He also thought I said that the French have battle necks. So he just thinks they have like thick necks. So he might be underestimating them a little bit. All right, so he's got a plan for Maryland. You guys need a plan for Maryland. What is your strategy? You do have nukes now. Strap a nuke on the Washington Monument and throw it at the British. I don't think the Washington Monument existed yet because...
Oh, yes. The giant phallic symbol of the very first president getting a strap on nuke. There's two of them at the base, apparently.
George Washington is currently alive, but I'll let it fly. Challenge British to a baseball game. Yeah, that could work. Get Sam Adams, get him drunk off his beer. Again, I don't think the original founding father, Sam Adams, had a beer company yet, but...
I thought he was a brewer, though. Actually, that's something that's going to bug me. I'm just going to look that up quickly. Yoink. Just playing this over here. Mira. Did Sam Adams have a brewery that I apparently can't spell? Oh, I said a brewery. I cannot spell to save my life. Yeah, I did. Oh, we got a option right here. Does Sam Adams actually brew beer? 40 years, company. Let's see if I can pull it over here. I've never heard of this website, so if this is completely shit-faced, I have no idea. Own beer business failed. Wait, seriously? Oh. He had one, and it's rather than a brewer. Oh, it was a maltster? And it was called, what? Huh. Apparently he did. He just wasn't successful. I guess the AI was correct or the chat was correct.
But could be wrong. Oh yeah, send Ben Franklin in. Yeah, you guys should be using Benjamin Franklin. He invented electricity, created it. I like the idea of strapping
never existed
a nuke
before.
on the
No lightning
Washington
prior to that.
Monument and throwing it at the British, because you wouldn't be able to
Also
get
air
away
baths.
in time, right? You're gonna be able to throw it like 2 feet, maybe, and then you're just standing 2 feet away from the nuclear explosion. Yeah, it seems like more people want
duck and
Ben
cover, you'll be
Franklin
fine.
to attack with electricity. The Americans were excited that
kite
the French had
attack.
entered the battle against the British, and so they
Oh
now
my
set their
God.
sights on the colony of Maryland. For this battle, the Americans send in Benjamin Franklin to attack the British with his newly invented electricity. Meanwhile, the British line up their soldiers like cricket players in a confusing formation. Meanwhile, the French attack the British with their new battle mech. Who will win Maryland? The battle is a fierce one, but the French win when they use a combination of electricity and battle mechs.
Electric
to defeat the
mechs.
British. God
Oh
damn.
my.
Whoa, hold on. We're going into Pennsylvania too. Okay, this could be a
Oh.
double. Running it. After that, the Americans turn
honoring
their
it?
attention back to Pennsylvania, where they send a giant battle mech into the town of Lancaster to kill
Where's Lancaster
all the
anyways?
British soldiers. The battle is hard, but in the end, the American battle mech wins.
It's named Hulk Smash.
After a famous
He made the joke earlier about the sides, and so they actually... That's why he had the mech on one side and the Hulk on the other, because that's what they ended up doing throughout the entire session.
comic book character that had appeared a few months earlier. Okay, huge play from the Americans in French. France basically took out the army, and then you guys used that opportunity to take Maryland and Pennsylvania.
So
I guess
does
you need,
France
like,
have an army now? Oh my god.
Oh, look at that beautiful American flag. We are
No.
back to
Maryland should be
where we started
French.
After
But you said they're
3
not
hours.
allied.
Good. Your options right now. You could go for New York, which you just burned down part of, New Jersey, or Delaware. What do you want to attack next?
Anything better
New
than New
York.
Jersey.
What's your plan for New York? Strap
Burn
a
the rest.
nuke to Franklin. Okay. Benjamin
Oh,
Franklin did have
hi.
extremely bad hemorrhoids during this period, right? Like, he was miserable. And he did say to George Washington, once he became president, I don't really wish I had to suffer through my hemorrhoids for the last year, but I'm at least glad I was able to watch you become president. But he was like so miserable that he was
I was unaware of this, and that absolutely sounds horrible. Ow.
like, I kind of wish I had not even been alive recently because it's been so painful. Sorry, kidney stones. Same thing. So, Benjamin Franklin at this point is...
How bad were the kidney stones that... Oh, they wouldn't be able to... Okay, I'm just going to ignore all of this because that is a horrible amount of pain. Ah, no. He probably would do this willingly, yeah.
is like getting on an age and might be willing to take one for the team, if you will. He's a great guy.
Take a nuke for the
over
team.
Broadway and perform Hamilton aggressively, and then maybe that'll get him.
Aggressive
use
Hamilton.
more fireworks to burn down the British. That could work.
Hey.
You guys have already proven that it works. You haven't done a lot of successful things today, but you have burned down
Which
New York
mech are they
and
gonna make
bombed
him fail at
Alaska.
now?
If it's just destructive, you seem pretty good at it. France is still attacking Britain right now. It's like a massive
Tell
play
Hulk
to have
to
gotten France
smash.
involved, and it's historically accurate, which is great.
Hey Doug, it's me, Rupert, from earlier in
What?
the stream. I told you to leave my land alone.
Rupert.
Thanks.
Oh,
You're being
yeah.
selfish.
The
You don't
trading
need
company.
all of this land. That's a lot of land, Rupert. Jesus Christ. Can the mods time out Rupert just as like a warning shot? Okay, you guys are going to take over Broadway and perform Hamilton at them with the original actors. This is going to be a good-ass
Time
play,
travel
my
invented,
liege.
nice.
Bad news from the front. The Americans took Maryland and Pennsylvania, and now they have a mech called the Hulk. This is based off of a popular comic book that I'm sure you're aware of in 1776. Now they advance on New York. We've heard
Did they have equivalent
whispers of
comic
their
books at that
desire to
time?
put on an incredible play. What is your next decision?
Probably not.
Comic book in 1776. These colonials are more delusional than a toad in a top hat. Please, in comics, ha!
What?
They know nothing of true arts. They're like a bunch of drunken swans trying to perform ballet. Let them try. We're
Someone probably
British.
watched that.
We practically invented theatrics. My plan?
Good point.
A classic British pantomime.
Really, DougDoug? I mean, yeah, a British monarch claiming we invented theatrics is perfectly in line because it's completely delusional and wrong. Saying good point, though? I'm actually judging you for that one. I know the Greek did it well before them, and I'm pretty sure they weren't the first, but I have no idea who actually started theatrics.
Phantom invasion inspired by the grand tradition of pantomime. I'll enlist the finest actors from London's theaters as the
Is he attacking them with the mimes? I mean, a mime is a terrible thing to waste.
enemies watch our riveting performance, dazzled in disbelief by our craft.
Wait, so he's also putting on a play.
As the final
Yeah, they're
act
having a
starting with
playoff.
drinking song to distract the audience, our troops will take them from behind.
Oh my
After all,
God.
a colonial's greatest fear is anything resembling culture. The plan's sheer brilliance, much like myself. We'll have them crapping their pants in bewilderment, the uncultured dolts. Oh, I do love to dance, but only with invisible hedgehogs. They have
What?
great taste in music, you know.
What? That didn't sound smart. I think he's getting crazy. King George.
Is that an actual AI doing the audio for him? I thought it was just some person coming up with it off the top, and it's just slightly insane. But no, apparently it is an AI running George. It's getting better. It's still insane, but it's getting better.
Did go crazy, right? Later in life, he had recurring and eventually permanent mental illness.
Oh.
It suggested he had bipolar or porporkia.
Oh, and
okay.
liver
I think
disease.
King George is already starting to go. This is a lot of
Like the actual one,
nonsense.
apparently.
I don't know how well this is really going to go. Who knows? Maybe it'll work. With their massive
no.
victory, the Americans now
I mean, it can't
set
go any
their
worse
eyes
than
on
the
the
other ones
colony of
already
New
did.
York. They sent their army to Broadway in New York City and started a massive performance of the musical Hamilton. But it was really aggressive. France continued to attack Britain with battle
What's
max.
my
And King
name?
George III decided to send the very best actors from London to put on a play to distract the Americans while the British soldiers hid in ambush. Which
No, he specifically sent pantomime actors. Pantomime actors. We are sending in a battalion of mimes. They're going to put them in a box and leave them there.
these
an invisible
competing
wind.
things will actually... So the play went on, but it was filled with rude remarks about George Washington. Rude. The audience booed, and the actors left the stage and came back in as angry British soldiers started attacking everybody. Wait, so the British are just like attacking
classic.
people in the audience? Then the Americans got pissed and left the theater to go find the real actors and kill them. But then they realized that they were the actors. The British fooled them. They tricked them. Sorry, who was the actors? The Americans were? Let's
Americans
keep
were the
going.
actors
I'm
all
not
along.
fooled. They had tricked the American revolutionaries into fighting their own army. This was terrible. The American soldiers tried
What?
to attack the British army, but the British army was waiting for them. The Americans had been tricked by the British, and now they were in trouble. They tried to escape, but the British army was on top of them, so they had to fight. They fought like hell. They fought like men. They fought like demons. They fought like a horde of zombies. They fought like a pack of wolves. Okay, we get it. They
This is a very new type of hallucination where the AI just keeps going into alliterations over and over and over again. I'm kind of enjoying it, but it's also really stupid.
fought like a river of blood. They
An
fought
ocean-
like an ocean of
a
death.
world
They
of
fought like a world
pain.
of pain.
It's
Oh
getting
my God.
bigger
They
each
fought
time.
like the fire of the sun. They
Death,
fought like an
blast,
inferno of
blood,
death. They fought
volcano
like a
of death
nuclear
even.
blast. They fought like a tidal wave of
Sounds
blood.
like a
It's just
downside from the
repeating.
ocean.
Okay, it's still going. Next, comma, the American troops attacked the colony of Maryland. They sent a battle mech to attack the British army in
the
London
French
to try to
one then?
take down the Queen. The battle mech fails, but it manages to kill a bunch of people and destroy a whole bunch of buildings in the process. Back
Not
in
lost,
New
though.
York, the British have now been driven back to the city. The Americans sent a group of soldiers to attack them in their base of operations. The battle is
Yeah?
fierce, but in the end, the British are defeated.
Oh, they
Okay,
actually
so
managed to
let's take
lose.
New York City. And the Hulk is in London. We'll move him over. The Hulk is currently
Oh
killing
my
people in
God.
London. And chat successfully defeats the
If they
Brits
take
in New
over
York.
Britain
You guys
directly,
are
does
up.
that count
You
as
actually
winning?
have a lot of options at your disposal. You could hit Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, or this weird spot that's New York and New Hampshire. Chat is moving on New Hampshire. What is your strategy? Play Yankee Doodle at them. Oh, that's smart. Hold on. Commission France to build a Statue of Liberty battle mech. That's why it failed the first time. Because the
Wasn't Yankee Doodle initially a mocking song of the Americans? I'm not sure if that's something that's true or a Mandela effect where I just heard it but didn't actually hear it and just erroneously believe something all this time. I don't actually know. Huh.
Statue of Liberty has to be built by the French, obviously. And then once they build it, you can strap a nuke to it. All right, France is building a new statue. Bad news, my liege. New York has fallen. Now those damn revolutionaries are moving into New Hampshire. And plus that weird kind of tumor thing to the left of it that is claimed by New York and New Hampshire. But then Hulk is now invading London and killing a bunch of people. We don't know exactly what they're going to do. We have to pull out all the stops right now with both France and the Americans attacking. Also, you were sounding a little bit crazy last time. Are you okay? His answers are getting super long.
Oh, what fantastic news. I do love a...
Wait, if he's reading off the answer and they're getting weirder, that means these are still AI generated. They have a dedicated AI just for it. There is not actually a person behind it. I'm assuming these are probably edited down for the video, though, given the voiceover work, because otherwise it would not make sense.
A good raid on my own capital city. It's like an unexpected Christmas, but instead of gifts, you get death. Am I okay? Of course, I'm as fine as a dandy in Dandyland.
He's getting crazier.
Fucking brilliant. Now, as for New Hampshire, it's time to trigger Operation Black Pudding. We'll ferment barrels full of blood, oats, and a dollop of American ignorance into a massive black pudding. We shall hurl these barrels over their camps. As for the French, we'll bribe them with...
Actually, that's not a horrible option. Blood fermented, thrown in barrels at camps is actually a time-tested method to induce poisoning, and specifically if you hit it into someone's well. That was actually a tactic during the Crusades if you were in a siege situation, to poison any way to do that and spread disease by just throwing also corpses, but blood, feces, entrails, all the dumb shit, and, literal shit, and dumb people who are dead. Yeah, so it's stupid, but also kind of works. Minus the war crime aspect, but actually including the war crime aspect too.
Wine and cheese to distract them from the war. The cowards.
That's smart.
When they'll face our gruesome, gelatinous onslaught, they'll be so disgusted they'd return to their liberté, égalité, absurdité.
Oh, there is France.
So sit back, pour us some of the finest tea, and watch this grand spectacle of colonial and French catastrophe. Black puddings for victory, I say. They're actually quite tasty with some eggs, but only if you're not faint-hearted. Speaking of heart...
I did try black pudding once when I didn't know what it was. It was coppery. I'm not sure if that was good or bad, and I don't want to find out.
I once had one. I think I misplaced it in one of my madness spells. Or was it in a game of cards? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Ah.
He's losing his British accent and definitely getting insane. Oh,
Wait.
what a great fucking...
Oh, the voice acting is also AI generated. Oh, shit. This is actually really well done. It's by ChatGPT directly. Okay, so that is actually the AI doing it. It's, a joke version of King George, but it works. Badly, but badly working is better than I expected. This is moderately terrifying.
King. Okay, he's triggering Operation Black Pudding. You guys are fucked.
Pudding.
So now, the Americans advanced on New Hampshire. The British set their defense of the colony by triggering Operation Black Pudding.
Well, they are now.
They fermented barrels of black pudding and tried to throw them at the American camps. They also tried to bribe the French out of war with wine and cheese. On the other hand,
it's
the
not a
Americans
bad way to do it.
have gone
I
their
should
French
have
allies
done
and
this
asked them to
hungry.
build the Americans a thick, gigantic Statue of Liberty battle mech, which they can send into battle to take New Hampshire. I feel like this is going to be too much for the AI, but let's see what happens. The French say yes, but they demand the Americans pay them 3 times more than they usually do. Oh, so this is like a normal thing.
Oh,
The
no.
Americans are not afraid. They're determined to win this battle.
They
and
actually
save the
paid?
colonies. So they agree to the terms, and the French soldiers begin work on the battle mech. When it's completed, they send it.
Does it
into
actually
New Hampshire.
work?
The battle mech destroys the British army and kills a whole bunch of soldiers. Wait, that was easy. That was it.
It actually
You wanna go
worked?
One more just to see.
They're allowed
As
to
soon
do
as
that?
The battle mech shows up on the battlefield. The French troops get so freaked out by the killing machine that they leave the colony of New Hampshire.
So they got
Where the
abandoned
French
by their
run away
allies?
Scared. You are up to 8 colonies. Britain still has Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Up here is just part of Massachusetts. Let's do a quick...
Seriously? Oh yeah, Massachusetts used to be massive, wasn't it? It wasn't just the state. It was like an entire section. It's kind of like how Pennsylvania is so long going back, because technically the initial deed for it would have been, here's how high it is, here's how low it is, and then it just goes all the way. So technically, I'm pretty sure Oregon should have been part of Pennsylvania based on that initial deed. Yeah, yes, Portland, the small western town of PA. Not to be confused with all the other small western towns that are tiny, unremarkable, and really freaking cold for some reason.
resource round. You get a little bit of a breather from the battle. What would you like to do? Train crab soldiers in Maryland. Ally with Rupert. Dude, who the fuck is Rupert? Oh, Ron Weasley. Got it. I guess it's not Ron Weasley. It's just Rupert. It's just Rupert Grint. People are saying nuke France. Why would you nuke France?
They'll never see it
Split
coming.
Virginia into West Virginia.
Do they have enough of it for
Do
that?
you just get another colony if you split Virginia? I mean, the rules of the war are you have to
that's
get
why
to
they
10
did it.
colonies. That is kind of smart. All right, hold on. Before you guys vote to split Virginia.
No, I mean, that's not even a joke. They legitimately split Virginia and West Virginia to do extra voting prior to the Civil War. And I'm pretty sure it backfired somehow, but I don't remember enough about that history time period to say how it did. That's going to bug me today. Not enough that I'm going to look it up, but just enough that I know I knew it at one point, and I'm not going to anymore. Just like that small little annoyance in the back of your craw. Also, I have no idea what a craw is now that I think about it. Probably shouldn't say it in case it's massively offensive.
Virginia in two. If you break Virginia, you lose it, okay? This has to be a clean split. Novel AI can't just say that Virginia is destroyed and disappears from the map. That will lose you Virginia. You'll just have a big hole here between Maryland and North Carolina. This is risky, but it could pay off. Seems like you want to take that risk. Having won the last several battles in a row, the Americans decided to do something crazy. They know they must gather 10 total colonies to win the Revolutionary War, so they try to split Virginia in half, so there are now 2 colonies.
I'm sure this will go fine.
This causes a lot of problems, but in the end, they managed to do it.
Oh!
So it worked, and the battle for New Jersey begins. The British Army attacks New Jersey with their new battle mechs.
They got mechs too!
Battle mechs, and they're defeated. Okay?
Oh.
You also got New Jersey. Wait, is that 10? Hold on.
Did they just win?
Virginia into 2. That's 9 colonies, and then you went and got New Jersey from them. The name of the 2 Virginia colonies are George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Also, the Battle of New York begins again.
Okay, they're going for all of them.
With more battle mechs, and they're defeated. Okay, Novel AI is also going crazy alongside King George. Everybody's going fucking insane. Remember, like an hour ago when I said you guys were finally gonna lose one of these? I'm gonna be honest. When I made the rules.
Nope.
I just didn't think about
Washington and
you
Jefferson.
split your colonies in 2. But having taken George.
Admittedly, I thought Jefferson was actually going to be one of the colonies named. I don't remember why they didn't do it. I remember reading about this. I remember thinking it was fascinating. I don't remember anything else after that. And this entire video is just reminding me of things I knew at one point and then completely forgot. And it's just like, hey, your memory sucks, Airier. Get better. But you won't because you'll forget. I swear this entire video is just making me ashamed of my own memory or lack thereof. Thankfully, I'll forget this soon. That doesn't make it better, does it?
Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and New Hampshire. The American Revolutionaries have full control of the colonies.
My
the
God.
Last remnants of the British Army are slowly pushed to the seas.
And erased.
Delaware is emptied. Connecticut is emptied. Massachusetts
So you
is
gotta do
emptied.
one last
and
roll
Rhode
to see
Island
what
is
happens?
emptied. But as they begin to celebrate, they look out at the sea, and coming from Britain appears the entire British Navy. This is the one thing that Britain's had going for it for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
the thing France couldn't
actually
stop,
was.
the thing Spain couldn't stop. And now, with their cannons aimed at Delaware, but also the other colonies, King George rides atop the head ship. This is your chance to
And
get
they have
to
mechs
end
now,
this terror
so
once and for all. You must take down King George on his boat. This is the final battlefield. Chat, what do you want to do?
They just want to nuke him.
Nukes. You just want to send in the nukes? Do you want to
Why is
strap
it
the nukes
nukes?
to somebody?
Eagle
What's your
nukes.
plan with the nukes? Strap nuke to the Statue of Liberty. Strap nuke to Ben Franklin. Strap nuke to the Hulk mech. Strap
The nuke
nukes
mech's
to
in
the
London,
blue
though.
crabs. Put a nuke on Rupert? You don't have Rupert. Ask Rupert
Find
to
Rupert.
wear a nuke and attack the ships. You have no relationship
God.
with this man so far, but maybe he's down.
Oh,
You're torn between the
no.
Statue of Liberty.
They're just going for
but instead
Rupert.
You're going to ask Rupert
Ron
from
Weasley for the
Rupert's land
win.
to carry the nuke for America. If you take down the British Navy,
God.
then you have won the war. My liege, I have bad
British
news.
nukes
The
and Harry
American mechs
Potter.
took over New Hampshire. The Americans have fully taken over the colonies, sir. They even split Virginia into 2. And so we've sent in the Navy. All of the forces of the British Royal Navy stand aimed at the colonies, ready to fight. How would you like to approach this battle, sir? It may be our last. And they've got Rupert.
They've taken Rupert? Oh, egregious fuckery. Who's gonna feed my ducks now?
That's Rupert?
All right,
The
it's
duck
Doomsday
feeder.
Juggernaut.
Well, now, that's awkward. I have no idea where it died at. Don't care enough, though, because it does that. Apparently, it's been overheating a lot. Also, it's so hot in here. I really shouldn't be wearing this. It's probably actually unhealthy.
Those unrefined Yanks won't know how to handle such a cultured assault. Got their freedom, they say. Let's see how they fare against the specter of splendidly enforced British etiquette. And for
What?
Rupert's abduction, let all ships blare the most dreadful British music all night. A symphony of Gilbert and Sullivan's operettas. That'll make
What?
them yearn for tranquility enough to return, dear Rupert. And for my next trip,
Gosh, don't
I
mind
shall
Rupert and
become
Sullivan.
invisible. Magic is just another
Gilbert
Wednesday for me.
No.
Wait, what?
It's okay.
He's-
He's invisible. Sir, I can't
Invisible
see you
King
anymore.
George.
Hold on. He wants to shoot tea cannons and hit you guys with soggy Earl Grey tea. Got it.
What?
Makes sense. Ladies and gentlemen, what may be
Does
the
that mean
final
he's-
battle? You must destroy the Navy to win.
Since Earl Grey tea is just water itself, it can't be soggy. Something would have to be in it to be soggy. And since it's tea, that would be the tea bag. So he is literally teabagging America. First the furries, now the teabagging. I just... Is King George a weeb at this point? Because it kind of feels like it.
Unfortunately, King George III had a final move up his sleeve. He personally sailed his entire British Royal Navy to the coast of America and readied their tea cannons to shoot soggy bags of Earl Grey at the Americans to destroy them once and for all. But the Americans were not deterred. They asked Rupert Grint from Rupert's Land to strap a fucking nuclear warhead to his chest and then run at the British Navy and blow himself up. And so he did.
Oh, he agreed.
The bomb went off in the air and killed thousands of people, but it also made all the water in
The
the
ocean disappear?
And then the American soldiers on shore used this newly created land to launch a nuke.
More
against
nukes!
The British, but there already been nukes. Then they
Not
realized
enough
that this
nukes.
new land wasn't very useful because the land had no water, and so they just kind of
Gave up and went home.
That's how the Revolutionary War ended. Which
That-
are they dead?
that's
It's the ocean
anticlimactic.
a colony now. The Navy is definitely
Oh,
destroyed,
God.
right? I want to know what's happening to King George. Rupert has definitely destroyed the Navy. We need confirmation that King George himself is dead. I'll say King George was on the ships when the nuke went off.
And
then
invisible.
we'll see what it does with that, right?
Because magic.
he is invisible right now. He died.
Oh,
He died
no,
in
he's
a
dead.
Fireball of destruction. He was killed by the hands of the Americans.
Blown
he
to
was blown
bits.
to bits, and that's how the Revolutionary War ended. God damn.
Well, I mean, that's
there's
just how
no
history
doubt.
recorded it, man.
Usually
You can't
this
fight
thing's a little
that.
bit vague. Ladies and gentlemen, Rupert Grint, 07 in the chat, nobly sacrificed himself to fucking blow up the Brits. The Navy's
Ron
gone.
Weasley with the
Rupert's
nuke.
gone, and all that's left is just dirt,
He
which
put
means
dirt in.
America is like 100 times bigger. Congratulations,
Yeah.
everybody. Oh yeah, and the Hulk is still attacking London. I have bad news, my liege. The Americans sent in
What?
Rupert to detonate a bomb next to your ship. You have seconds to live until you're blown to smithereens.
Oh, they get a
What do you have
response.
to say as your final words against the Americans?
Well, now, isn't this just the fucking cherry on the colonial sundae? Seconds to live? Might as well make the count. You uncultured swine! You may have your freedom, but you'll forever lack the British charm. The day you understand
The
the
teeth.
crumpet's true purpose, probably the same day hell freezes over and pigs ballet through the clouds. But mark my words, even in death I shall triumph, because after all, being blown to
What?
bits is just another British pastime, like croquet or neglecting the French. And remember this, when you dream of refinement, it'll be my ghost sipping tea in your nightmares. Because when you think about it, aren't we all just fish in someone else's bathtub? Splendid!
Goodbye, King. Oh, what a leader. And anyway, for all
Just
the
fish in someone
Europeans
else's
who are watching
bathtub.
today, that's how the Revolutionary War happened. You guys are going to go past your American history
Oh.
classes thanks to my stream. You're welcome.
This is our greatest victory because we started by blowing up Delaware.
I love DougDoug's community. Twitch chat is so batshit insane. They have the funniest things. But I'm going to give it a Chat GPT on this one because they made a somewhat comprehensive character that stayed reasonably insane, but consistently reasonably insane, who had some of the funniest pieces of bullshit lines and was very British by shitting on the Irish and the Scottish the entire time. So it earned the douchebag award by being accurate to reality. Oh my God. I'm loving this. I loved every second about this, and hopefully my wife will ignore the fact that I checked this out instead of the one where Doug was doing an absolutely straight line in Zelda, because she's a massive Zelda fan. Let's go for more fanatic with the full-on word. And my camera died again. Yeah, so I'm basically gonna have to end the stream because my camera keeps dying because of the heat. I still need to find a fan. That's gonna be a thing to do. More importantly, you guys know there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up, and if you like this video, I'm gonna check out more because DougDoug has so many cool things, and I just really want to check this out, man. Now, if you don't mind, I need to go apologize to my wife for not checking out the Zelda one first because I need to do that. Yeah, there will be much cheese involved. because I can very much fascinate my wife with cheese. Admittedly, that's because cheese is awesome. It's a good reason. That's what I stick to. See you guys later. Adios.